The Galactic Council declared war on Earth at exactly 9 o'clock Universal Time Coordinated. They expected panic. They expected screams. But what they got was silence. Across Earth, citizens simply sighed, finished their coffee, and logged into work. No alarms. No military broadcasts. Just a single message from Earth's Strategic Command, delivered by a calm man in a suit. Noted. We'll respond after lunch. That man? Damian Riker. Humanity's sharpest weapon. And by Friday evening, the Galactic Council would beg for a ceasefire, from an enemy that never left its chair. They declared war at 9 o'clock Earth UTC. The Galactic Council broadcast the proclamation with all the pomp their bureaucratic hive could muster, glowing banners in 17 languages, thunderous trumpets through vacuum-sealed channels, and 1,000 alien delegates roaring with self-congratulation. Total engagement protocol against the Sol system is now in effect. The Grand Arbiter boomed. Commander Damian, deadline. Riker blinked as the notification slid across his retinal HUD. He stirred his coffee, glanced at the timestamp, and sighed. It's Friday. They always pull this crap on a Friday. A junior analyst in Earth's Strategic Command, barely out of academy, whispered. Sir, they've voted full war. Like, actual war. Riker didn't look up. Let him. Cue the standard auto-response. The message sent across the stars was short, professional, and laced with venom. Noted. Earth will respond after lunch. Back in the council chamber, the silence was instant. Some thought the humans hadn't understood. Others believed the message was encrypted. One delegate from the Alaxian regime blinked her multiple eyes and hissed. They didn't even flinch. They're mocking us, spat General Kraith of the Zortal Dominion. That's their declaration of defiance. No one noticed the faint smirk on the SCRYV ambassador's face. She knew what the others hadn't learned yet. Earth wasn't ignoring them. Earth was waiting. Across Earth, nothing changed. Civilians went to work. Miners drilled Martian caverns. Children finished their cereal and got on school shuttles. Military satellites stayed cold. Not a single Earth weapon moved. The war had begun, and humanity acted like it was business as usual. But inside the black walls of Earth's Strategic Command, Riker moved. He entered his authentication code, his voice sharp and calm. Authorization, Omega-44 Protocol. Engage full-tier defense operations. Non-kinetic assets only. Let's win this without waking the nukes. AI nodes began compiling massive packets, regulatory disputes, environmental objections, trade violations, and bureaucratic irregularities. Within minutes, Riker's team launched digital weapons faster than any missile. Across the stars, the first Council fleet entered Sol space. And was instantly halted. This is Council Dreadnought Barracks Velum requesting passage to Earth orbit. Came the transmission. We are initiating authorized combat maneuvers per Protocol 97 Alpha. A polite response crackled back. Denied. Your fleet lacks valid transit visas, proper battle engagement licenses, and has failed to file tax compliance Form Zeta 77B. The alien commander paused. This is a war vessel. And we are a sovereign power, replied Earth Customs. Failure to comply will result in sanctions and orbital immobilization under Treaty Clause 94Z. Have a pleasant conflict. On board the Dreadnought, systems blinked red as navigation protocols auto-froze. Lasers powered down. Targeting arrays disengaged. 1,000,000 tons of warship hung in orbit, helpless, bound not by force, but by formality. Council generals screamed across channels. Council ambassadors called it a glitch. Riker called it art. He leaned back, adjusted his cuffs, and tapped the next phase. Deploy the mirror maze, he instructed. What maze, sir? Asked the analyst. Our gift to bureaucracy, Riker said. Let's drown them in their own rules. Instantly, Earth broadcast tens of thousands of requests, ethics reviews, weapon testing disclosures, species harm assessments, intent to engage disclaimers. All of them worded perfectly, none of them ignorable. Council fleets were forced to pause and respond or be flagged for treaty violations that would compromise their funding. By 10:30 Universal Time Coordinated, 5 fleets had stalled in legal limbo. By 11 o'clock, 2 had turned back entirely, waiting for clarity. By 11:30, Earth had counterfiled a petition accusing the Council of improper war declaration procedures, based on a loophole in an old Martian mining clause from 2196. Every minute, the Council grew angrier. Every minute, Riker looked more relaxed. "Sir," the analyst said, "aren't we going to fight?" Riker stared him down. "We are fighting. They want lasers. We gave them lawyers. They expected rage. We gave them rules. Let them burn in their own red tape. That's Earth warfare, son." A new alert chimed. A stealth message from Earth's Observation Division. Riker read it and smiled. "They've sent an assassin," he muttered. The analyst paled. "What?" Riker stood, rolled his shoulders. "They're escalating. Finally. Took 'em long enough. Should we raise alert?" Riker waved it off. "No need. He'll find me." At precisely 11:53, a silent breach triggered in the western quadrant of the bunker. Security bots detected the intruder, but were overridden by Riker's clearance. In the command archive room, surrounded by neural data cores and encoded war records, Riker waited. The assassin emerged, cloaked in black polymers, with a plasma blade humming in one hand. "You are Damian Riker," the assassin said. "Commander, actually," Riker replied. "But you're not here for titles. You are the keystone of Earth's resistance. I am here to correct that." Riker stepped forward, hands empty. "Before you try, answer me one thing. Do you know what Earth has that no other species developed?" The assassin blinked. "Fearless adaptability? Unpredictable evolution?" Riker smiled. "No. HR departments." He stepped on a pressure tile. The archive pulsed. A neuropulse activated. The assassin's visor shattered. Images surged into his brain, lines, cues, audits, complaints, reviews. Endless memories of human bureaucracy, standing in post offices, filling tax returns, renewing licenses in 112-degree heat. The assassin screamed, dropped the blade, collapsed, twitching. Riker knelt beside him. "We've fought wars with bullets. But we always preferred paper cuts. Go home. Tell them we're not playing their game. We're writing new ones." Back in the bunker, Riker returned to his chair. The analyst stared at him, wide-eyed. "You didn't kill him?" "No. I filled out his resignation. Should kick in by Monday." The room burst into laughter. And at 12 o'clock Universal Time Coordinated, Earth's Strategic Command officially clocked out for lunch. "Let the galaxy rage," Riker said, lifting his thermos. "It's Friday. War can wait." A second Council fleet dropped into Neptune's shadow at 1300 hours Universal Time Coordinated, fully armed and cloaked in adaptive stealth. Its admiral, a Centauri brute named Zalthak, activated encrypted channels and growled into the void. "Begin silent incursion. Earth won't detect us until we've burned their satellites to ash." 10 seconds later, the entire fleet was hit with a silent override signal. Engines stopped. Navigation scrambled. Oxygen filtration reversed for 3 seconds before emergency protocols restored it. Alarms screamed through the vessels, not from enemy fire, but from internal systems throwing fits. "What in the black hell's just happened?" Zalthak roared. A calm voice answered on an open line, its Earth accent dripping with irritation. "Fleet Zalthak, this is the Interstellar Compliance Division of Earth. You've triggered 7 major violations of Sol's environmental safety buffer zone and crossed into a restricted legal preserve, the Europa Treaty Ice Belt. Please reverse course or face fines." "We are a Council war fleet," Zalthak snapped. "We do not pay fines." "Well, lucky you," came the reply. "We also accept surrender." Then came silence. Not fear. Not confusion. Just utter disbelief. They had trained for missiles. for planetary shields, for a military response. Instead, they were being suffocated by paperwork, rules, codes, and clauses wrapped around their warships like invisible chains. Zalthak gave the order to disengage and await further instructions. No commander wanted to explain why his fleet was stuck behind an unpaid parking violation in deep space. Back on Earth, Riker adjusted his chair and scrolled through the system logs. Fleet 2 neutralized. Status? The analyst blinked. Sir, without a shot fired. Again. Riker didn't look up. That's the plan. Tell the AI to spin up the next phase. Full spectrum chaos. Let's see how many empires the Council can hold when every one of their species gets a different version of our war declaration. You're forging declarations? Not forging. Rephrasing. Let's weaponize language. And misunderstandings. It's what they do to us in every treaty. Time they tasted their own red tape. 2 hours later, the Rentari Republic received an Earth declaration claiming the Council was manipulating quantum trade laws to poison their oceans. The Draven Collective got a message stating Earth sought peace, but the Council was threatening genocide. The Zigguris swore they intercepted a message where Earth offered them freedom from taxation if they defected. None of it was true. All of it was believable. Within 1 Earth hour, 3 species pulled their fleets from Council control and demanded emergency sessions. The Grand Arbiter's chamber descended into interstellar shouting. Riker smiled. Noise, confusion, suspicion. The war isn't about weapons. It's about beliefs. Let them believe we're 5 moves ahead, even if we aren't. The analyst, now sweating, tapped into Council broadcasts. Sir, they're starting to panic. Media calls Earth a threat to diplomatic order. Perfect. When an enemy can't define you, they can't defeat you. By 1600 hours Universal Time Coordinated, the Council declared Earth's methods a violation of civilized warfare. They accused humans of cowardice, evasion, subterfuge. Riker held a press briefing via holostream. He looked straight into the Galactic feed and said, "You call us cowards for not firing missiles. But remind me, which of your ships made it past paperwork? Which of your assassins returned sane? You're not mad because we're dishonorable. You're mad because we didn't show up to the kind of war you wanted. That's not cowardice. That's strategy." An hour later, 6 more fleets disengaged from the front lines, citing legal review and jurisdictional uncertainty. And then, something unexpected. A second assassin arrived. But not like the first, this one came through diplomatic clearance. A representative from the Othellan Empire. Female. Silent. Poisonous. She sat across from Riker in a locked conference chamber with only a table between them. "No guards?" she asked. "No need," Riker replied, handing her a dossier. "That's a copy of the Council's interspecies breeding experiments on prisoners. Records your empire was blackmailed into covering up." She didn't touch it. "Why show me this?" "Because I want you to kill the Council instead." Her silence was thick, calculating. "You want an alliance? I want justice. You want freedom. The Council used Earth as a scapegoat to unify their grip. But now you've seen the cracks. Help me break them." She stood without a word. Riker leaned back. "When they ask who made you turn, tell them Earth filed the proper form." She vanished into the corridors. 2 hours later, the Othellan flagship began broadcasting Council war crimes in 13 languages. By nightfall, 4 empires had defected. The analyst looked up from his console. "Sir, what happens when the Council retaliates with something real? Something violent?" Riker's voice dropped an octave. "Then we give them what they want." He pressed a command. Dozens of black files decrypted. The screen glowed red. Time to wake the sleeping dogs. Across the asteroid belts, hidden Earth bunkers powered up. Ships long thought to be civilian revealed plasma cores. Mining rigs extended into mobile turrets. Defense protocols activated on Mars, Titan, Europa. But they didn't launch. They didn't move. They just waited. Staring silently at the galaxy. daring it to try. Riker leaned forward, eyes cold. We've given them everything they deserve. Doubt. Fear. Failure. All delivered with a smile. And they think we're bluffing. They're wrong. We've spent 100 years preparing to win this war without drawing a sword. The analyst looked pale. And if that fails? Riker's smirk was surgical. Then we show them what happens when Friday ends. The Council called an emergency tribunal at midnight Galactic Standard Time. Every empire was present. Holograms flickered in colossal rings, their leaders tense, snarling, nervous. At the center, the Grand Arbiter slammed his gavel and roared. Earth's refusal to engage in conventional warfare constitutes a breach of combat decorum. Humanity has weaponized bureaucracy, psychological misinformation, and non-kinetic aggression to destabilize this council. The delegates demanded action. The floor boiled in rage. Threats flew like sparks. And yet, amid all the fury, not a single Earth fleet had fired. Not a single Earth soldier had landed on enemy soil. Still, the Council was losing. The Grand Arbiter raised a clawed finger. We issue this final directive: execute Project Decapitation. Kill their strategist. Eliminate Damian Riker. A Black Ops unit from the Draconian Purge Legion was selected. Their assassins weren't stealth. They were spectacle, teleportation capable, fear-trained, combat genetic super soldiers. They didn't sneak. They arrived. Earth Command knew it was coming. Riker read the intercepted order on his desk and smiled. Third time's the charm. The analyst blinked. You're not evacuating? Why? Riker sipped his coffee. It's Friday. Assassins are practically office tradition by now. 12 minutes later, the walls of the strategic core exploded inward. 6 armored giants stormed in, weapons humming. They opened fire instantly. Plasma rounds tore into empty air. Riker wasn't at his desk. He was in the center of the war table, motionless. The lead assassin leveled a spear. You are the disease beneath Council skin. I am the cure. Riker raised a hand. Before you start slicing, let me ask you something. The unit hesitated. Speak. You ever wonder why we haven't retaliated? The room tensed. You assume we're weak. Passive. But Earth didn't become Earth by being predictable. We didn't build an empire across 5 worlds by filing taxes. We played your games. We studied your rules. We learned your blind spots. He tapped a button. Across the galaxy, dozens of hidden satellites activated. Not military, not lethal. They emitted scream frequencies, uniquely tuned to each species' subconscious terror triggers. Council soldiers on hundreds of ships fell to their knees, eyes wide, shaking at visions only their species could see. The assassin staggered. The leader dropped his weapon, clutching his head. Riker stepped forward. We didn't build a defense grid. We built a mirror. You pointed your knives at us, and we showed you what you look like. You don't fear Earth. You fear what you'd become if Earth fought like you. A hidden panel opened. Earth's true soldiers stepped out, silent, unarmed, wearing data suits. Not one carried a gun. They moved like ghosts. Observers. Enforcers. Trained not to kill but to dismantle minds. The assassins tried to retreat. They couldn't. Neural dampeners surged. Muscle control froze. Riker circled them like a warden. You were taught to end lives. We were taught to rewrite them. He turned to the analyst. Send the message. Within seconds, the Council received a broadcast. Not a threat. A demonstration. Footage of their own soldiers defecting after Earth's psychological reconditioning. Medical scans showing total ideological overwrite without drugs, without violence. Just exposure. Riker's voice followed. This is what you're fighting. Not guns. Not missiles. Ideas. Humanity doesn't conquer land. We conquer belief. You declared war. We answered with persuasion. The tribunal erupted. Accusations. Counter-accusations. Empires broke alliance mid-call. The Arbiter screamed for order. It never came. The assassin team was escorted out, intact, silent, reprogrammed. They would be returned to their masters, loyal, docile, and terrifyingly enlightened. The analyst stared at Riker. Sir, what if they retaliate with something worse? Biologicals. Planet killers. Riker tilted his head. Then they learn we predicted that too. In a vault beneath Antarctica, Earth had stored its final insurance. Project Memory Fire. Not a weapon of destruction. One of revelation. A hypersignal broadcast that, once activated, would seed the minds of every sentient species with one collective memory, of every war Earth survived, every atrocity endured, every betrayal overcome. A tidal wave of human trauma, downloaded into alien minds. A last resort? Riker hoped he'd never use it. But he would if pushed. That night, he recorded a personal message to the galaxy. No threats. No anger. Just truth. You want to understand us? Fine. We're loud. We're stubborn. We survive everything. We mourn while we joke. We fight with chaos, and win with madness. You saw us as primitives. But you never read our history. You never tasted what it's like to bleed, rebuild, and laugh at the pain. You declared war. But you never understood what that really meant. And now? You're not at war with Earth. You're at war with Friday. A planet that fights with policy, with patience, with planning. A species that doesn't rage, it waits. The message went viral in 12 minutes. Billions watched. On alien colonies, riots broke out demanding peace with Earth. Soldiers refused orders. Governors abandoned the council. Riker watched it all unfold from his desk. Sir? The analyst whispered, stunned. They're falling apart. No, Riker corrected. They're waking up. The next day, the council recalled all fleets. Riker didn't gloat. He just filed a folder labeled Attempted Galactic Conquest, denied, and slipped it into a drawer marked Fridays. The council met in secret, behind sealed encryption walls and gravitic silence chambers, desperate to reclaim control. 12 species remained loyal. The rest had either defected or gone dark. Their navies were scattered, their fleets paralyzed by protocol and paranoia. Earth had not fired a single kinetic round, yet the galaxy stood fractured. The Grand Arbiter slammed his hand into the conference table, voice cracking through desperation. If we allow this farce to continue, Earth will dismantle us without lifting a blade. What we need now is unity. Fear. And something they cannot deflect with words. A single plan remained. Project Black Star. The order was given. Earth's sun would be destabilized using a classified graviton core weapon, smuggled years ago into Mercury's orbit. No warning, no declaration. Just annihilation. If Earth wanted psychological warfare, the Council would answer with extinction. Back on Earth, Riker reviewed intercepted chatter. The word Black Star flickered across a dozen encrypted fragments. It wasn't a code they'd seen before. He narrowed his eyes, tapped the table, and pulled classified solar orbit schematics. The analyst beside him squinted. Sir, are they actually planning to hit our sun? They're done playing, Riker muttered. They're going for legacy damage. Not just war. Erasure. He activated Omega Lockdown Protocol, accessing Earth's ultra-deep archives. Project Shard. A file so restricted it required 2 biometric confirmations and a 10-minute AI audit just to open. What Riker found made him pause. Then he stood up, spine straight as iron. They want to destabilize Sol? He said slowly. Then we let them try. Sir, we can't stop them physically in time. Not physically, Riker snapped. Narratively. The analyst frowned. What? Riker turned, eyes burning. They've waged war with fear. Let's give it back to them tenfold. We're initiating Project Widow's Mirage. Project Widow's Mirage was pure Earth insanity, an artificial intelligence cascade designed to project realistic war outcomes directly into Council communication feeds using fabricated time-dilated data. Not simulations, false futures, embedded so deeply into the Council's quantum relay systems that they couldn't be filtered. The trick wasn't just to lie. It was to make them believe they'd already lost. Within 20 minutes, Council channels across the galaxy lit up with visions of Earth retaliating to Black Star. Terrifying images, Earth's colonies rising in perfect unison, orbital strike fleets appearing in unmarked wormholes, Council worlds falling one by one, and most chilling of all, messages from their own future selves, sobbing, begging to undo the mistake of provoking humanity. It wasn't real. But it was perfect. One Council warlord shot himself live on broadcast after seeing a projection of his homeworld turn to ash. Another ordered a full retreat of his species' fleets before even receiving a real threat. The Grand Arbiter, fuming in denial, screamed into his console. "It's fabrication! Earth has hacked our perception! You cowards are surrendering to ghosts!" But the fear had rooted deep. It was too late. Riker leaned over the table, breathing slow, steady. "Our words made them hesitate. Our silence made them paranoid. But now, we made them certain of a future that doesn't exist unless they force it to." Just then, Earth's long-range solar array picked up a spike. The graviton core weapon had activated. Black Star was live. Within 7 minutes, it would destabilize the Sun's corona, ending Earth, the solar system, and everything in it. Riker was unmoved. "Launch the solar intercept." "Sir, it won't reach it in time." "I know." He pressed the secondary button. "Execute Protocol Paradox Shell." A failsafe few on Earth even knew existed. Decades ago, during the quiet Cold War, Earth developed a time-scrambled nanomissile capable of one action, rewriting the final 30 seconds of a weapon's existence by embedding false causality loops. The intercept missile launched. As it neared the graviton core, the protocol engaged. Council observers watching the live feed saw something strange. The weapon blinked once. Then again. The feed stuttered. And then, reality rewrote itself. The graviton weapon was gone. Never detonated. Not fired. Its logs erased. As if it had never existed. Earth's sun returned to normal. Council scientists were baffled. Some believed it had failed. Others suspected sabotage. None could explain the missing 30 seconds of time. Riker stood before Earth Command, eyes narrowed, jaw set. "They built a bomb to destroy us," he said quietly. "We built a lie so strong it broke cause and effect." The analyst asked, breath catching, "What if they try again?" Riker shook his head. "They won't. Not after what they saw." Across the Council, dozens of resignations were filed within the hour. 3 more species declared neutrality. The Othellan fleet, once Council's pride, turned their weapons inward and staged a mutiny. Riots broke out on the Capital Ring. The Grand Arbiter went silent. And yet Earth said nothing. They didn't broadcast victory. They didn't gloat. They simply returned to silence, to waiting. By the end of the day, the galaxy had drawn its own conclusion. Earth hadn't won the war. They'd rendered war obsolete. The message arrived precisely at 6 o'clock Universal Time Coordinated. No encryption, no codes, no demands. It was a formal broadcast from what remained of the Galactic Council, its seal fractured, its authority shattered. The voice was quiet, measured, devoid of its usual arrogance. "To Earth's Strategic Command, to Commander Damian Riker, we request immediate cessation of hostilities. We recognize Earth's sovereignty, its autonomy, and its capabilities. The Council will no longer pursue military or legal action. This war is over." Riker didn't move at first. He just let the words hang in the air, like a weightless verdict. The analyst beside him exhaled, barely a whisper. "That's it? Just done?" Riker finally looked up. "They're not surrendering. They're conceding reality." He tapped a control. All global alert statuses dropped to green. Fleets stood down. AI defense nodes entered standby. 100 classified systems across Earth, Mars, Titan, and the Kuiper Belt simultaneously powered down. The war that never truly ignited had ended in absolute, undeniable silence. No one fired a shot. And yet the galaxy burned in the aftermath. 3 empires fell within days. Civil wars erupted across former Council territories. Member species turned inward, questioning every treaty, every assumption, every leader that had declared Earth weak. The illusion of control shattered. Earth's shadow grew longer with each defection. Not from conquest, but from choice. Riker stood at the observation deck of Strategic Command, staring up at the clean blue sky. He didn't smile. Victory wasn't a celebration. It was a responsibility now. The analyst approached quietly. "Sir, there's a delegation from the former council waiting. They want to apologize." Riker shook his head. "Tell them to form a line. And file Form 17G. He paused, then added, "In triplicate." The analyst tried not to laugh but failed. The sound echoed off cold steel. Riker turned, straightened his jacket, and walked into the command chamber, where the first batch of post-war dossiers awaited. Among them, refugee pleas from defecting races, alliance offers from former enemies, trade proposals from colonies once forbidden from contacting Earth. He scrolled through the chaos with dead calm. Earth hadn't just won. It had become the galaxy's gravity well. Everything now pulled toward it. And that, more than any battle, was the real endgame. The analyst cleared his throat. "Sir, the media is demanding a press statement." Riker arched a brow. "What for?" "The paperwork speaks for itself. They want to know what to call this. What kind of war this was." Riker thought for a long moment, then finally said, "Call it a refusal. We refuse to break. We refuse to fight their war. We refuse to give them the villain they needed. We just kept showing up. And we made sure they saw themselves in the mirror. Eventually, they couldn't stand the reflection." Another ping hit his console. A personal message. Direct from the Grand Arbiter himself. Riker opened it. There was no anger, no command. Just a single line. "How did you do this?" Riker replied without hesitation. "You declared war on a species raised in chaos, tempered in failure, and trained in survival. You thought we'd panic. Instead, we poured coffee and reorganized your empire without leaving our desks." He didn't wait for a reply. There wouldn't be one. They didn't need it. Later that afternoon, Earth's first galactic symposium opened on the Moon, neutral territory now under Earth-coordinated protection. Delegates from fractured empires arrived cautiously. No council emblem. No flags. Just individuals, quiet, unsure, and suddenly very interested in listening. Riker didn't attend. He watched from a secure feed as the new political landscape took shape, forged not through treaties, but through the fear of what Earth might do if pushed again. Back in his office, a junior operative brought in a thick folder marked Post-War Transition Proposal, Human Cultural Integration. Riker flipped through it. At the end, a curious note. "Sir," the analyst said, watching his reaction, "one of the defecting species, the Kalven, asked if they could adopt Earth's weekly cycle. They want to implement a Friday." Riker laughed for the first time in days. "A Friday," he said. "They've got no idea what that means." The analyst smirked. "They said they want a day where everything stops. No war, no politics. Just quiet. They said it was your idea." Riker leaned back, staring at the ceiling. "It wasn't. It's just what we do. You don't destroy your enemies. You outlive them. You wear them down with the idea that you're not afraid. And you teach them that your silence is not weakness, it's warning." He stood, walked to the window, and looked out again at the sky. "War is loud," he said. "But peace? Peace is heavier. You have to carry it with both hands. And make damn sure you never drop it." The analyst didn't respond. He just nodded. Behind them, on the far wall, hung a screen showing the war log. At the top, blinking in quiet green text, were the final entries. Engagement type non-kinetic. Duration, 4 days, 11 hours. Total casualties 0. Outcome, Galactic Council dissolved. Earth response time, delayed, due to lunch. And at the very bottom, Riker's own note. They declared war on a Friday. Earth clocked out at 5.